Ladies and gentlemen, I have gotten my hands on the ultimate hacking keyboard, UHK60. It is a beautiful mechanical keyboard, and it splits. Okay, yes, so you are looking at the UHK60. It is Ultimate Hacking Keyboard's 60% mechanical keyboard. 60% meaning it has no number keys and it also has no function keys. It makes up for this by providing you with a concept of layers, much like an LearnCode.academy keyboard does. So you have your regular keys, printed or blank. I think blank is absolutely beautiful, so had to go with blank. So it gives you your regular layer, and then you can toggle to another layer for your function keys, another layer for your arrow keys, another layer for all your custom hotkeys, where one key can do any number of things or combination of keys. Yeah, so fully programmable, customizable, a ton of fun. And yes, it splits, so it can be a standard QWERTY keyboard or much more of an ergonomic thing. So let's go over some of the features first. I've been using this keyboard for a month straight because I never want to talk about something that I haven't fully used. As you all know, almost everything seems cool when you first get it, but after a little while, you really know what you think about it. So I really know what I think about this, and I will let you know that as well. So looking at the features first, it does come with an optional actual real wood wrist rest, which is an accessory that I think is an absolute must. Oh my goodness, it adds a lot of weight to the keyboard. It adds a lot of stability to it. And it really just adds a lot of beauty to the frame that you already get, which in my opinion is already a really pretty frame. Frame comes in black, white, red, orange. I think that's all the colors. There might be one or two more. So you have some color options with the frame. The frame also does have some LEDs here to show which layer you are on. There's some small little things that say you're on the mod, function, or mouse layer. And there's also 3 LEDs that say what general mode your keyboard is in, because you can customize it to have several different modes for Colmac or Dvorak or any of that stuff. It is connected by basically a phone cable. Fun story, my 8-year-old saw me plugging it in and said, "Whoa, cool invention of a cable that has a little plastic clip on it." Yeah, he'd never seen a phone cable before. Fun times. And it splits, obviously. This construction is extremely solid. And by extremely solid, I mean this is the most solid feeling keyboard I have ever laid my hands on. Immediately, I realized how plasticky clacky almost every other mechanical keyboard sounds and feels. And it's not to do with the key switches and keycaps. It has to do with the casing that you connect them to. So you might even be able to hear. Those are browns or kailh coppers in this case, so a tactile key. And instead of a clacky click, they have more of a nice calming thud to them, because what you're getting in this case is you're getting a metal backing plate, you're getting metal connectors, so when it's connected, it is stable and very pleasing, very satisfying to connect it together, because it's basically steel rods going into steel posts to support them. Even the wrist rest that you get, the wooden wrist rest, connect to a metal backing plate that screws into metal receivers. So all in all, the construction of this keyboard is remarkably sound, just way more solid than any keyboard I have ever used. That, right off the bat, first impression when I started touching the keyboard was, wow, this feels phenomenal. Also, you'll notice that it's your standard staggered key QWERTY keyboard. So in my mind, when you start getting into a layered keyboard like this, the number one decision you have to make is, do you want to go with the switch from staggered, right, where the layers stagger on the top compared to the row behind them? Or do you want to go with linear or ortholinear, where each layer is exactly in a row with the one before it? I've historically really liked LearnCode.academy keyboards because of the linear layout. And strangely enough, I find myself liking this keyboard as potentially my favorite keyboard of all time. And by potentially, here's what I would say. If you are not dead certain that you are a brave person and want to try crazy new layouts like the LearnCode.academy provides with thumb clusters and all the other stuff that an LearnCode.academy type of keyboard gives you, you should buy this mechanical keyboard if you're looking to get in mechanical keyboards. Here's exactly why I would say that, is because you're starting off connected, standard QWERTY, you're gonna be able to go from 0 to 60 and get comfortable in it in no time. Whereas an Ergodox type of style layout, you're talking minimum 2 weeks, probably more like 6 weeks till you fully feel comfortable. I felt comfortable on this immediately because it's a standard QWERTY layout. And then as I got more comfortable, I was able to split it apart, maybe try some more strange and unusual keyboard layouts and key mappings, which brings me to one of my absolute favorite things about this keyboard is the visual key mapper software is the best in its class. Absolutely the best I've ever encountered. While many other keyboards have really good key mapping software, you download an actual software app that runs on your computer, you open it up, click, 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 change some key mappings and hit save. You don't have to find a little paper clip and punch a little button to go into DFU mode where you can program it. You basically just open the app, change the key mappings, hit save, and your keyboard is updated. Absolutely phenomenal and seamless, because the number one thing you want to do on a keyboard like this is customize and hack and change your key combinations and your hotkeys all the time. So you get an opportunity to do that with this keyboard. It's not frustrating. It's extremely seamless. It takes, because of not having to put it into firmware update mode, it honestly takes about a quarter of the time to make small changes, which is really, really nice. It also comes with some tenting keys. Let's see if you can see them here. It's got some tenting keys that you can either put all on the back row for a vertical tenting, front to back, or you can put them on the insides here, making for a center to edge tenting. The only gripe that I would actually have about the hardware of this keyboard is it's really tiny little screws to unscrew these tenting pegs and try them out on a different layout or different location. It's not super easy to do, but it's not like you have to do that every day. Once you find that you like it this way or that way, or the optional tent forward option, which I don't think I'd ever go for the tent forward option. But once you try out those 3 options, find out what you like, you don't really ever change it. So it's not that big of a gripe. That was honestly my only nitpick out of everything. Even where you plug in the USB cord, it's indented in here underneath, has a little wire catch. So if your kid walks by and really trips on that cable, it's not gonna rip it out of the keyboard. Worst case scenario, you're gonna bend and put a kink in the cable because it's got a little cable kink right there for you. So a lot of thought has been put into this keyboard, absolutely making it a to die for phenomenal keyboard. They are coming out with some really cool thumb clusters, like a mouse and a trackball type of things for these sides. They haven't come out with them yet, but it looks like those are getting really close to making it into production. Those would be pretty interesting as well, especially for the people that go for split. I mean, once I go for a split keyboard, I never go back to together. I just am a huge fan of split keyboards once you get past that initial learning curve of liking. I mean, putting your coffee in the middle, I don't need to say anymore. So having that thumb cluster there for making mousing easier, pretty cool. Last thing I'd like to highlight and show off is they have these extra little clicks right here below the space bar on each side. There's a button built into the actual frame of the keyboard, and you also have 2 separate space bars. So you can make space bar do space on your right hand and the click do space on your left hand, while this does a much more useful function for those of you guys who use either your right or your left thumb mostly for spacing. But in my opinion, as soon as I saw those, I was like, well, these are my layer toggles right there. Layer 2, layer 3, and then caps lock key for layer 4, and boom, you can easily get to all 4 of your layers. It was a really quick setup for me, made it really simple to get to what I want to do. I have my mousing layer, my function keys layer, and then all my custom hotkeys layers. All in all, I have really nothing negative to say about this keyboard, and I have a lot of positives. It is the extraordinary build quality, makes it enjoyable making it pretty much one of my favorite 2 mechanical keyboards of all time. If you had to pick and you weren't sure if you wanted a risky, unusual layout like some of those unusual keyboards that are out there, I would say get this keyboard as a first run mechanical keyboard. For the price point, you honestly can't build a quality keyboard for the price that you can have them just build it and ship it to you anyway. It's just getting the parts and the key switches and the keycaps alone. You're gonna be spending as much or more than this to build one yourself. and it probably will not be made as well. So I'm a huge fan. UHK, you've made me a phenomenal fan. Thanks for the demo piece to try out for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Have a good day.